Good evening. Magandang gabi sa inyong lahat. For tonight, we will discuss about the political economy of rural-urban development. Siyempre, pag pinag-usapan natin yung development, you always have to consider that you have to contextualize that within our economic political realities. Kasi meron tayong mga congressmen, meron tayong mga mayors, meron tayong mga konsihal who are making policies and who are making important decisions when it comes to development decisions in our country. Kaya mahalaga na maintindihan natin how do the politics and the economics affect the rural-urban relationships. First, we have to understand that the political economy involves the level of power relationships as seen in the dynamics between social institutions and the forces like the state and interest groups operating within the arena of the larger socio-economic situations. In other words, ang sinasabi natin is that sa isang community, sa isang municipality, sa isang probinsya, ay maraming interest groups that are operating. You have farmers groups, you have business groups, you have the professional groups, you have the NPA, you have the MILF, you have the MNLF. All of this are operating in the community level. Kaya lahat yan will influence the way decisions are made. Number two, the level of strategy and tactics which deal with specific means or methods of action used to influence the process of policy making. Isa kasi sa mga dapat natin tandaan is that sa bawat desisyon na ginagawa sa isang government institution, whether it's a bureaucratic institution or whether it is a municipality or a provincial government, decision makings are always based on pressure groups. Mayroong mga pressure groups, mga interest groups, may mga lobby groups that would influence the way decisions are made. Minsan ang mga strategy nila ay sa pamagitan ng protesta, social media, strikes, minsan violent. Kaya minsan ang mga decisions are, depende rin sa strategy na ginagawa ng isang interest groups. Okay. So ano ba karamihan ng ating mga approaches when you look at the political economy of a particular community? You have to realize na in many of the decisions that are made in the provincial, in the municipal, the regional level, meron mga underlying theories that are existent. Siguro balikan natin konti. You have the liberal theory, which says that the theory uses a disinterested arbiter or referee. It looks at the state as a regulator standing over and above different interests. So kumbaga ang gobyerno supposedly magiging neutral siya at hindi siya mag-side ng anybody in the interest groups. He will just be an arbiter and try to balance different interests. Ito yung liberal theory. Natawag natin na free markets. The other theory is the Marxist theory, which views the state as a tool or instrument of a dominant class to exploit the lower class. And the capitalist state is seen simply as an executive committee of the capitalist class. Ito yung Marxist point of view, no, na sinasabi ng mga Marxist na actually ang state ay pinapatakbo yan ng mga kapitalista, ng mga mayayaman, at many times the decisions of the state will favor the rich, mga kapitalista. Okay, so the political economy approach may be seen as an extension of the counterpoint tradition. Although this approach shares many of the theories and concepts of the Marxists, it avoids the extreme perspectives of both the liberal and Marxist theory by paying close attention to the changing and sometimes complex patterns of state-class relations as they develop through a definite historical period. So yun, our political economy is trying to look at the different interest groups. Okay. Now, ano ba? Pag-usapan natin, ano ba yung mga interest groups na nag-ooperate sa isang community, and how do these interest groups, interact when it comes to decisions about rural and urban development. Una, meron tayong tinatawag na socio-economic elites in the community. Ito yung mga mayayaman, ito yung mga businessmen, at karamihan, ito rin sila ang nananalo during elections. So, ano ang source of power nila? Anong power nila? Yung kanilang control ng lupa, yung kanilang kayamanan. So ito yung mga landed elites, yung mga malalaki ang lupa, malalaki ang investments, may-ari ng mga bangko, and their interest is always to preserve land ownership and control, as well as their properties, no? And what are their roles in society? They will always oppose any decisions that would favor the poor and that would make their interest that might adversely affect their interests. And how do they influence decision making? Well, they influence decision making because they have access to power. Sila probably ang governor, sila probably ang mayor, sila probably ang mga board member at saka mga councilors. Simply they have access to power and they tend to promote their own interests. Okay. Ano lang ito sa atin, ha? Academic discussion na ito. So, wala namang personalan ito. Okay. Number 2. Ano pa ang interest groups na nag-operate? Ito yung mga industrialists. These are the, yung mga may-ari ng mga malalaking corporations, malalaking processing plants, mga exporter, malalaking fishing. These are the industrialists. And these people, they control capital. Sila yung may hawak ng pera, sila yung may hawak ng mga industries, sila yung nagbibigay ng employment. Okay? And therefore, ang kanila talagang agenda is how do they protect their industries? How do they make their industries stable and in fact expand their industries to promote their interests? So marami siguro kayong kilala na ganon. Hindi naman sila masama, but then they provide employment, diba? Okay, now they would oppose itong mga industrialists na ito. They will always oppose liberalization. Ayaw nila pasukan ng foreign investments, yung kanilang negosyo. Ayaw nila ng competition. They want to protect as much as possible yung pagmamayari nila sa economy ng isang local area. A good example, halimbawa, yung Zamboanga City for a long time, hindi mapasukan yan ng mga malalaking malls. Dahil protektado kasi ng mga malalaking negosyante yung kanilang maliliit na malls. Ayaw nila papasukin yung SM. Hindi makapasok sa Zamboanga City dahil very strong ang protectionism ng mga businessmen doon. Again, ano ang source of power? Well, they have access to political power. They have access to powerful interest groups. Kasi siguro malaki ang contribution during election. So, yan, meron silang influence the way decisions are made both in the municipal, in the city, and in the provincial level. Minsan sa regional and even in the national level. Okay. Number 3. Itong mga international capitalists, ito yung mga foreign investors. Ito yung mga may partnerships sa ating local industries. Minsan they are major investors providing capital. Ito rin ang may malaking influensya on the way decisions are made in the local and in the national level. Kasi sila ang may hawak na kapital. Sila yung may hawak ng pera. And ang interest nila is to open markets, to liberalize, to allow foreign investments, and they always have links toward finance. Iba na kasi ang financial structure natin ngayon. Kasi mabilis na mag-move ng pera from one country to another. And if these big capitalists, these big multinational corporations, they can move money anywhere in the world very fast. They can create jobs. They can also close investments very fast. Kaya minsan very careful rin ang local government, national government in dealing with them dahil may implication yan sa employment. So again, they have to balance the interests. And these are the people who are always saying we have to liberalize, we have to open the markets, we have to create competition, no? Halimbawa sa PLDT, sa Smart, sa Globe, dahil masama yung internet natin, create competition para mapilitan sila to improve their services. Okay. And again, these people have access to political leadership because they can influence presidents, they can influence senators, dahil may pera sila eh. Malaking grupo rin yan, mga international group. Ano pa ang naglalaro sa ating rural-urban linkages? You have the bureaucrats. Ito yung mga implementers, department heads, regional directors, provincial directors. Malaki rin ang influensya nila when it comes to making decisions about economic development. Kasi sila ang nag-implement ng policy. Sila yung gumagawa ng mga budget proposals. Kaya minsan, pag hindi kaya maganda yung relationship mo sa regional director, hindi rin ma-prioritize yung iyong mga projects or programs. So, natin sila, they are all, trying to please each other. The governor, the regional director, the businessmen, nag-uusap palagi yan kung ano yung mga policies that would benefit their different interests. Let's not be deluded with the belief that these people are all working for the good of everybody. Kahit ikaw man siguro you always want to protect your own interests. Then you have the elected officials. Ito yung mga mayor, congressmen. Problema nitong mga tao na ito, they have to be elected every 3 years. Siyempre, 3 years lang ang playing field mo, you cannot afford to lose the support of the majority dahil you will be subjected to election every 3 years. So, kahit na minsan ang policy ay hindi maganda, but you think that you can gain political support with that policy, tuloy mo na lang. Diba? Oh, may mga rumors, I'm not sure, totoo, na hindi maalis-alis ang tricycle sa Jensen dahil rich ng boto ang mga tricycle drivers. So no politician would be would oppose the operation of tricycles dahil magpapa-elect siya eh. So yung boto niya na mawawala ay napakalaki pag masyadong harsh yung kanyang pag-implement ng policy regarding tricycles. Then you have the Congress. Congress, of course, alam naman natin yan, it has legislative power, but at the same time it has also may pork barrel yan, and at the same time these are also relatives of the mayors, the councilors. Minsan yung mga anak nila ay holding political, elected and bureaucratic positions. So yung Kongreso, yung kanilang source of power is legislation. They have the power to investigate. They can actually do anything in Congress to either promote or oppose certain policies. So tayo, halimbawa, tayo na nasa academe, tayo na mga, kunwari, tayo yung mga planners, tayo yung mga thinkers, tayo yung mga students of development. Marami tayong mga theories na babasa about development, but eventually, you have to deal with this political interests. And you have to understand that hindi ganito kadali, hindi ganun kadali ang pag-implement ng change, because in a society there are conflicting interests.